massive content creator, MiniMinuteMan, 2.5 million subscribers. Let's read his own description, what I always do rather than describing people. I like reading how they describe themselves. Archaeology educator, environmental scientist, author, Google debunker, humane 2022, I don't know what that means. You guys know what that means? 2.5 million on YouTube and 2 million on TikTok. Man, that's impressive. To have success to that level, not on one platform, but on two platforms, is something that I will always respect, because goodness gracious, it took forever to even hit 1 million. And as a almost 1 million subscriber channel, my views are not as high as I would want them to be. So yes, I reached it, but I wouldn't say that I'm being as effective as I could have been. But when it comes to him, it's clearly a situation where everything works, because 4 days ago, and it's the one about the pyramids, we're going to watch a little bit. And so this one here, he made this one, excellent views. Yeah, his views are great. So, and I'm very happy for him, because I think he deserves it. Excellent work. Let me show you where there is a part where he actually mentions me, and I wanted to share it with you. There he is. And it's at the very end. By the way, I did watch the Piers Morgan episode where they were all invited. I thought it was interesting, and believe it or not, that was the first time that I saw Jay Anderson. I had a good impression of him. I thought, like, yeah, this guy, I like how he speaks. But now I'm back to neutral. I went from, I think I like this guy, back to neutral, and I'll wait his opinion. If he gives it, my position might deteriorate when it comes to him in the upcoming future.
In Italian. As you can see, I've been fully naturalized as an American, where I can proudly say I only speak one language. And so again, if you want to learn more about this actual study and, you know, fill yourself out on it further, which I highly suggest you do, I really recommend you look at some of the videos from my colleagues. They're excellent. There's another one that I forgot to mention earlier. There's a great video by the YouTuber Metatron, who is a native Italian speaker who went through this whole press conference and is able to boil out a lot more of the juicy information. So I really recommend that you check that out too. There'll also be a link to that in the description. Thank you, Metatron. Fucking great video. Okay, anyway.
Thank you, Milo Rossi. Really appreciate that. Of course, as I was saying before, the fact that someone this big in the space mentions my video is one of the reasons why I think the video exploded the way it did. So I'm very appreciative of that. But one thing that I really liked that he said, note how he introduces, look.
I really recommend you look at some of the videos from my colleagues. They're excellent. There's another one that I forgot to mention earlier. There's a great video by the YouTuber Metatron, who is a native Italian speaker who went through this whole press conference and is able to boil out a lot more of the juicy information.
So I noticed he used the word colleagues, and I believe he mentions colleagues again later on when he puts me on one side and Flint Dibble on the other, and then he says my colleagues. I really appreciate that, because I'm no archaeologist. I'm a history enthusiast. People do use the word historian. For me, they call me a YouTube historian. I never really use the word historian to describe myself, but simply because the way I interpret historian is extremely high. So to me, a historian, well, you need to be like one of the major people in the world that are really putting... But I noticed that a lot of people these days use historian in a much looser sense. Then in the loose sense, if you're someone who's really into history and you make money by doing research, if that qualifies you as a historian, then I guess you could call me that. I still don't like using it though, and it kind of makes me feel condescending. Like, oh, look at me, I'm a historian. So I prefer to call myself history enthusiast. I am a teacher, so I used to teach. I did it for 10 years. But usually my specialty was languages and culture. Now, given culture and history are intertwined, and I did take a lot of history courses for my university course. I was even allowed to go into the Vatican secret archives because of that. They gave me a special permission because I was putting a lot of work into history, even though I didn't need to. I actually took more exams than I needed for my university degree, simply because I got so interested in it that I just kept doing tests pretty much. But yeah, so that happened. But anyways, I appreciate that. I think it was great that he said that, and I am very interested to see what he thinks about the pyramids. So of course it's a massive video, but I do want to start watching at least a little bit to see what he says. And then after we are done with this, I will strongly recommend you to go and watch the original video, put links and whatnot. But after this, I do want to check out Dr. Dave and how he responds to the other side. And then we'll watch a little bit from the other side. I was thinking of watching one of the Debunking videos and one of Jimmy Corsetti, but one thing at a time. We got a lot of time anyways.
Hit it, Fergie.